now. Alan Quinlan joins us on the line. Morning, Quinny.
Morning, lads. How are you?
Good. Interesting developments last night in that the Rugby Championship's been cut in half. South Africa are decided to pull now from the tournament, 16 days out. Looks on the face of it to be death knell for this thing. I don't know how it survives without them.
Yeah, it's a disaster. I think everybody is probably shocked that it happened. I think it was a very high-end, a lot of commitment for Australia, New Zealand and South Africa, Argentina to try and wrap themselves in a bubble for 6 weeks and then quarantine issues and all that kind of stuff. So I think South Africa pulling out is, even though it's a shock, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, what for the tournament itself, it just becomes a trans-Tasman, like it's a far lesser proposition, obviously. Anyway, and with the general shake-up, Quinny, sort of globally, with obviously South African teams maybe coming a bit more forcefully into tournaments in the Northern Hemisphere, is this something that we might see more of down the track, or do you feel that this is just very much related to coronavirus and normal business resumes when it disappears?
I still think South Africa would want to play New Zealand and Australia and test themselves against them. I think with Super Rugby, there's obviously issues around that because of finances and the travel and the logistics for clubs. But I think it is something that you're going to see more with the 4 Super Rugby teams coming into the Pro 14 here. I think it's a real sign that they see themselves being part of Northern Hemisphere rugby rather than Southern Hemisphere rugby going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, I want to get your thoughts as well. Ian Henderson is out of the remaining Six Nations games, if indeed they do go ahead with that. A 3-week ban he picked up for hitting a ruck, I think recklessly. Was that the judgment?
Yeah, it was. I think he got 6 weeks and it was reduced to 3 after, on good behaviour and all that kind of stuff. And a clean record, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't have, like we were chatting a couple of weeks ago and you were saying about putting Baird straight in. Now, he's obviously got his own issues going on, so we're not sure about his own future. How much of an impact does it have in terms of, would Ian Henderson have started on that basis?
Yeah, I think he would have, of course, yeah. I think I wanted Ryan Baird to start. He's obviously out as well. Henderson probably would have started anyway. Maybe Andy Farrell wouldn't have put Ryan Baird straight in there, but now it's an issue. It's Tyke Byrne or Quinn Rue or Ultan Delan possibly who's going to play there. So it's a massive blow with Tyke Furlong gone, Dave Kilcoyne, Keith Earls, Jordan Larmour. Aside from coronavirus and people being affected from that, these bloody injuries are not good news for Andy Farrell. Yeah,
no, the whole thing is very much up in the air, and like people's appetite to watch sport has never been never been more in focus, and we all want to watch the games. We don't want them to come at personal cost. Of course, it's the biggest issue that we've just been talking to.
Yeah, I think most of the teams will have injuries and they'll have their issues, so it's just part and parcel of the game. I think, so they just got to get on with it. They had a camp this week for a couple of days in preparation for that game against Italy next week. They'll go into camp on Sunday night, and it's an opportunity for Tyke Byrne and Quinn Rue to try and start there and make a case for their inclusion when everybody's fit and well.
Yeah, we want to get your thoughts as well. You'll be dusting off your blue scarf, Quinny, tomorrow. Absolutely no doubt about that. For the Heineken Champions Cup final, Exeter against Racing 92. There's lots of Irish interest in it, and actually a game that I'm quite looking forward to now. What do you expect to happen?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Exeter are just such a relentless side, and they put so much pressure on the opposition, defensively sound. I think what Rob Baxter has done there has been phenomenal, and they've been knocking on the door for years trying to win the English Premiership. This is their first final in Europe, so they're lacking a bit of experience there. But Racing are a star-studded side, but the big question is, will they travel and will they play well in Bristol and get a performance? They're a very powerful side who struggled, I think, a little bit against Saracens in the semi-final. They had that flamboyance of Finn Russell, Vakatawa, Teddy, Tama, Amoff, all these players do have players and some brilliant players, but their biggest strength is the collective. You know, Exeter's collective will, desire, resilience, and obviously their quality. When they get into the opposition 22, they nearly always score. So I'm hoping Racing win, obviously, because of Mike Prendergast, Zebo, Donica Ryan, Garrett Steenson and Ian Whitner involved with Exeter. But it should be a good final. I think it's a real test for Racing to travel and see if they can produce a performance. Exeter are rightly favourites and they'll probably win it.
Yeah, all right. Well, look, we'll be keeping a keen eye on it. I think it's 4:45. Is it Irish time tomorrow? Is that right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
They're thereabouts. Come on, Quinny. Thanks a million.
Cheers, lad. Thanks.
So that was Alan Quinlan on the line there with a few little bits and pieces going on in the world of rugby. Obviously, this morning I wanted to check in with him. It's 9:38 on this Friday morning. Do keep your comments coming into us, by the way.